So I'm going to spin a couple of cups. As you guys see, I'm gloving up. I need the quills. I'm going to do a couple of cups, and especially a porcupine quill cup. So today is Wednesday, January 27th, my day off, which are split days, which I'm fine with. I prefer split days. So I'm doing triple layers, and you will see why as we go through the process. So this is a start to finish. I use Jacquard alcohol ink, and I am more of a fan of Tim Holtz. I don't buy anything cheaper because it can bounce off like water and be resistant to what you're doing. So if you're being cheap about it, you're gonna have crappy cups. I'm not gonna baby you. It is what it is. So don't be cheap. So what I am using is this. I am not a sponsor, but it is UV resistant, so this is what I use. There's a method to my madness. You may not understand. Everybody does it differently, and so don't I. The cup and the stick is not going to weigh any difference because it's called tear. Tear it out to 0. So we're going to take the A. I'm surprised there ain't no tinfoil on them. Normally there are. That's weird. So we're going to do an A and a B. See if that does a negative. It doesn't, which is good. Put a little weight on just to make sure your scale is actually working. Put a couple of things in there. It is. N95 is recommended. My respirator does not do any justice when I do this, so I do have to get something different. This is definitely a mess maker for sure. Not impressed on this bottle. Something is pulling it to be stringy, and I've never had that on any bottle. But not every bottle is perfect nor the same. That's B cap. So I'm at 58. Try to do a little more without it doing that. It just attracts to the bottle. It's probably static. Who knows? But it's simple. Instead of having a stroke about it and being a child, you just wipe it up and move on. This is why we wear multiple gloves. So now that we're at 70, we put the cap on. Tear it out. Do another 70. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm not a fan of pour slow for bubbles. I torch them out and heat them out, so I really don't care. It only takes a few seconds. I'm not going to sit here and stir for 20 hours because, oh my God, bubbles. It's called stop being lazy and torch it or heat it with a heat gun. It comes right out. So this is a good amount. But with doing 3 cups, that's what is needed. I cannot tell you how much I put on a cup. I just eyeball it pretty much. Everybody does it differently. I do it different from a lot of YouTubers. So it doesn't matter. You have a method to your own madness. So, I don't have the patience to sit here and go stir, stir, stir. I just stir it. And like I said, I get the bubbles out anyway. You stir it until it actually becomes clear instead of cloudy. And those who don't like putting bubbles in your epoxy, I'm sure I'm annoying you, but all honesty, I don't care. I do it my way. It's what works for me. And all my customers have never complained about a cup. I make sure I get the edges. And pretty much all my customers own 3 cups each, just for one person, so. You can also tap it. Some bubbles will rise, but it's full of bubbles, but they will be gone by the time I get done. I want to make sure, let it set for a minute. I want to make sure that it's thoroughly mixed. Then what I have here, I get these at Dollar Tree. They are like lint-free type of rags. Some cups like this that doesn't come with a closable lid, I buy them. I do not charge my customers because I buy them. So I just buy them and put them on without the extra price. So that lid, brand new, will be thrown away. It will be discarded. It's not useful whatsoever. I treat my customers and people how I would want. I would not want to buy a cup that is open lid. That's just me. So, what we are going to do is you take your electrical tape. You can get it right at Dollar Tree, 2 big rolls. One of these cups that I'm going to be spinning will be my own personal cup. For everybody knows about Prickles the porcupine that me and the help of my husband I captured. So what you do is you just take your time, you align it with the edge of the paint that is on the cup. I like to leave the silver part on all cups. I am not going to be one of them YouTubers that are here for a beauty contest either. So if you're here looking for that, you're at the wrong spot. I'm going to show you actually what it looks like and what you go through. Not this edited type of stuff. It's just, I'm not for that. Then you cut it. The end, make sure you overlap. See, there's a good overlap. So you can pull it and then fold it. Try to let you see that. Just fold one corner in. That's all it takes. That's one. Then you do the next one. I do stretch my electrical tape so it's actually sealed tightly and not loose. Then actually when you do this, you will notice that the ring that they created on this while it was painted is not straight, which is actually quite funny. So you just fold the bottom corner in and then you push it down so it sticks. I know a lot of people are about Yeti cups, but I tell you what, when you get one of my cups, you're pretty much a Yeti Plus cup. I am not cheap when I make them. And a basic cup takes me 2 days to make. This stuff is not something you should be doing, especially when you have respiratory issues and you're not wearing a mask. But until I get my N95, this is what it is. Do not underestimate epoxy or resin to not cause lung issues, because it is known to. There are many people who used to do this who got severe headaches permanently and lung damage. That is a fact. Okay, so we did that. We stretch it. Fold the corner, push it down. Now you're probably going to ask why I use electrical tape. The reason is because after 30 to 40 minutes after I remove the tape, it does peel away from the epoxy. So that is why. So I put my hand in. Hit it with 91% alcohol. If you use a paper towel, I will tell you, I've used it a lot. It is a nightmare. It still leaves dust. But when you've been doing this for a while, you can manage to get around it. So, you have to alcohol your cups. There is no way around it. You have to. You have to put a good amount on, because of the problem is when you leave fingerprints, the epoxy will not stick. You'll get big sunken holes in your cup. So it's very powerful, the alcohol in itself, but I tell you what, my cups will be the most cleanest cups. I do leave the plastic on the bottom, and I will tell you right now, I am not a fan of Walmart, but I do buy their Ozark Trail cups. And I tell you what, you buy one, you put whatever hot coffee or hot cocoa or whatever hot you drink into one of these cups, and then you also put it in one of mine, and you will definitely see a difference. And that is a fact, not fiction. Your drink will last so much more longer. You can pour coffee at 6 a.m. and by noon, it is still warm to hot. By 3 or 4, it is still drinkable. It's not cold, because I can't stand cold coffee. It's truly disgusting. It lasts for many hours. These cups do not last up to what they say. So I leave the plastic on the bottom. I want to make sure there's no fingerprints. Now, this video is not going to be one whole video. It's going to be done in certain sets. So you're going to see me do the cups, spin the cups, and then I will turn the camera back on as soon as I pull the electrical tape. Okay? I buy these footballs at Dollar Tree. They are way better than these black foams that they come with. So I squeeze them down, and I put my cup on. And then I twist and hold the bar itself and twist the cup on. Now, depending on which way my tab is and my cup is rotating, that's when I will adjust it. So for this one, my tab is coming back towards me. I will shut it off. Wait a second. That one's a squeaker. I've tried to fix it and I can't. It's just, it is what it is. I'll turn it back on, off, to get it to go back the other way. You want your tabs, your corner tabs, to be going away from you, not towards you. That's one of my cups. So once I do this one, I will have to wait for some of the epoxy to settle and be sticky before I attach Prickle's little stabbies. So pretty much, she's still in a sanctuary. That's what she shot out when she was in the backseat of my truck getting heated up in the warmness that she was in of the backseat of my truck. So I need to find a good green. So I'm going to do a little bit of dribbles in here. I'm looking for a certain green. Now, mind you, I'm going to show you. This is Tim Holtz. Okay, there's like 30 bottles in there. They're $3 a piece. It's not cheap by any means. And that's for, they don't even put the size of the bottle on. But they are little bottles. So what I use is Mars Black, which is blacker than black. And that is actually very true. That's what's on my cup right there, Mars Black. It's literally blacker than black. I also do have a Fujicard, but I'm more of a fan of Tim Holtz because it's not like when raindrops hit the ground pretty much, like on pavement, how it actually retracts and bounce up. And that would be, I've tried plenty of these and some of these do it. It's a cheap brand and I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't one bit. So, we are going to take and get rid of this. So this will be a multi-step process. You'll see me put it on. You'll see me drop the color. And then you'll see a spin, and then I will be back on to pull the tape. And then once it dries, because it takes a little while for it to dry, which is like could be a full 24 hours. For me to do another coat of epoxy over pretty much the alcohol ink. This is why I love the footballs, because with this squishy thing that comes with the tumblers are crap. Literally are crap. They're useless. So then I take and use my finger to get what's not filled in, filled in. Just make sure all the spots are filled in. So these tumblers, tumbler turners each cost $30. They are definitely well worth that investment, that's for sure. If you get the other spin it kind, I will tell you, are garbage. I've had them. I've tried them. It doesn't work. So we're going to pop the bubbles. You don't want to heat up too much because then it'll all start trickling off. You want to heat, leave be. You'll get some that comes off, but that's alright. When you have a contaminant, you just tap it and it pulls right out. So I'm going to leave that be for a minute. Start this other cup. Always do your bottom. I like it when the bottoms are painted because then when someone drinks and they flip it up, they can still see that the bottom was also taken care of. And customers will be like, oh, who did that? That's awesome. So I use a tin foil because after a while you do get drips. You can pull it up, but it does take a lot of work. So in order to save time, just put a sheet of tin foil underneath. What I do is what I used. It's on my fingers, goes right back into the cup. This stuff is expensive. It's not cheap by any means. If you want to actually save from using tin foil, which I just buy like the big boxes like at BJ's, if you get a silicone mat, you will be able to peel it up from a silicone mat. Epoxy will not stick to a silicone mat. It lays on there and it dries. Just make sure it's completely dry before you actually peel it. So that one's looking really good. So we're going to do this one. And with also popping the bubbles with a heat gun, doesn't need to be anything expensive. It also helps to get your epoxy to thin out a little bit and spin, which you don't want it too thin. You hit it and you let go. You give it time. Want to make sure you have your hand up so you don't drip on your table unless you don't mind cleaning it. So I'm pretty much heating it up to make sure that it still is applicable. This is why I do so many gloves. So after you lay it, you want to take off that glove. Make sure you shake your alcohol ink very, very well. If need be, I have my white. drop, 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 drop. It doesn't matter. It's going to do what it wants to do anyway. You can't control it. Make sure you drop some so it comes down around the bottom. That's what it does. So I am using my tripod that I bought from Safelite. I am not a sponsor, but I highly recommend investing in one of these. It can be a selfie stick. It can be a little tripod to a 7, 8, 10-foot tripod. It's all in one. You just disconnect it and whatnot. So that's all I'm going to use for that. As soon as you hit it, that's when the magic can start to actually happen. If you shoot it up, you'll have lines going that way. You take your tumbler and you tip it, it'll be vertically. Okay? So you can do that. Expect drips. That's just how it's going to happen. So I see on the bottom that there's a couple little spots it didn't get. So I'm just going to put some in there. No big deal. Use this. Heat it up. Make sure I pop the bubbles on these before the epoxy sets. You can't take your time. You take your time, you're going to have a completely sealed cup. It won't work for you, I'll tell you that. You have to get some flame under your tush. So drop, 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 drop. Make sure you get your edge. There's no method to the madness. When you don't see it swirling like you want to, you heat it up. Now I'm going to tell you right now, don't ask me why I have blue and green. I am still trying to figure that out. This is a jacquard. Alcohol ink, as you see for your very eyes, is turned blue with heat. I don't know why. This is actually rainforest green. If you can explain that to me, I'll be willing to listen. But when you drop it, it's green. I don't want to go much more than this because that is truly awesome. I want it to do its own thing. Make sure you put your caps on the right bottles. I don't know. I definitely want to call the company and ask questions. That's for sure. So pretty much heat it. Make sure it is going to spin, spin, spin. Do not set your cup on fire. I have before. My husband freaked out and I just said zip it. Blew the flame out. Wasn't nothing to me. So I know someone told me that their girlfriend would love a pink cup. So that's what this one's going to be. This cup, will be blacked out after, so this one's definitely going to be a process, that's for sure. No two cups are ever the same. I don't care how much you try, how much you lie and say, oh, yes, it can, yes, it can. No, it can't. It cannot. It can't. So we're going to get this pink to move a little bit more. Okay, that's what it does with heat. Right very there. Let me turn this just a little bit more. Right very there, that's what heat does. You don't want to overheat it because you'll burn it. So while we're doing that, let's see if I can get this open. You can definitely see hunter green in that blue, and I tell you what, that is the coolest cup I've ever done. If y'all do want to see my cups, you can go on brooklynscollection.com, BROOKLYNS. No S. BROOKLYNSCOLLECTIONS. brooklynscollection.com. So as you see right now, I'm actually going to add the black. I know, you're all saying, oh, you just messed up a really awesome cup. Well, I tell you what, you'll be surprised at what it'll do when you mess up a good cup. So no worries, peeps. No worries. We're going to heat it up a little. We're going to set the black again where it was, where it's created like cell-like effect.